I'm Myles. We're at the Fishing Republic store in Crewe today. I'm going to talk to you about rigs. When it comes to rigs, that is pretty much what I use for 80% of my fishing, I'd say. I do like to keep things very, very simple when it comes to rigs. I pay more sort of attention to fish location and sort of hook sharpness, to be honest. As you can see from that, it's as simple as it gets really, just a small little bit of putty on there, a size 4 wide gape, and sort of balanced off with a small pop-up. And I wanted to fish that as close to the lake bed as possible. Just keeping the up point, I don't know if you can see from there, but that is what I'm aiming to sort of fish. I mean, some people like to fish them popped up. Personally, I like to fish them as balanced as possible, and with as small a bait as possible, to be fair. So I'm going to take you through step by step how to tie that. First of all, I quite like, unless I'm fishing out at mega range, I use a soft, to be fair, sort of 20-pound soft for most of my fishing. Like I say, the semi-stiff just helps keeping it away from the back of the leg core or tubing when sort of casting further. With that, I'm going to peel about 5-6 inches back. Just simple as it gets, a small little loop in the bottom. Just pulling that tight. It's just a standard little loop. With that, like I say, quite small baits. I mean 12mm, 10, 11, 12, sort of 30mm as a max. I sort of tend to use a lot of it because you're sort of fishing out at range, etc. Smaller bait, fly a lot further. Again, as simple as it gets. I mean, some people, obviously boilie stops and that, but another little personal thing I like to use. Like I say, it's just much more subtle than a big sort of daft boilie stop. I do like quite big hooks. See, a lot of the time fishing for sort of good sized fish, so a good bit of metal. You see that there with the bait? I'm trying to roughly, just a little bit of a gap there really, just when it's whipped. I do like to whip quite a way down the shank. Some people like just to whip a few times, put a little bit of silicone tubing in the way. Just to sort of trap the hair. Personally, I like to whip it all the way down. So I'm just sort of like level with a barb almost. Normally on a size 4 you're talking about 16, 18 whips down. With that there, see? And the mega important bit of this is really bedding that knot down. As you'll see, that hair now is coming out at a weird angle. It's coming off at the side of the hook. Now for that to sit, see if that was to sit like that and you just to put your string tube on and cast that out, see how it sits? It's not flush, it's sat off to one side, making your rig not 100%, it's more favourable to flipping over on one side. Just by getting your teeth around the back of it, just ensuring there, see how it's coming out flush. When it sits down and wafts that out the hook, it's sat perfect in the middle. So if it's to get into the fish's mouth, it's going in perfect, not off at an angle, straight. So with that, just a small little bit of shrink tube. Now with that, I'm aiming to cover all the whipping that I've created, and roughly about 1.5 inches coming out of the eye. Just a little bit of slide over there, makes everything slide over. And also I want the break. Breaking the material just has to be about, again, only want it about 0.5 centimetre roughly. Again, it's all personal preference. Just nibbling away at that material. See that there now? That's going to be roughly the shrink tube in line with the barb as you sort of look up the hook. As you can see there, just a little break before the coated material. Again with that, just a small little bit of rig putty, and I'm mounting that just over the break there, you can see, just with the coated braid and the braid meat. And with that as well, it gives the putty just a little area to grip onto and stop it sliding. Yeah, drop that into a kettle, boiling water. I much prefer it than steam. You know, if you drop it into there, it seems to shrink it that much more better. And plus, if you drop it in just before you're about to cast out, any odour, as we're sort of playing with our rigs, anything on our hands, you know what I mean, you drop it in that water, it sort of neutralises everything off there. So yeah, that is pretty much, as well, I fish it on a leg clip. A small little bit of putty mounted halfway along the link, just to sort of, in case it's up and like that, a little bit of putty will help it fold over, everything's that flush on the lake bed. So yeah, I'd say very, very simple, but something I put a lot of confidence in, you know, as simple as it gets, just a big, strong, sharp hook, and get on them, yeah, and that's about it really. Go to anywhere rig.